Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of UPSC CSC Agriculture Optional Paper 2. The topic is growth and development in plants. So let us first understand what is growth. If you look around yourself, all of you are going to definitely realize or observe that all the living organisms changes their shape and size over a period of time, right? If you look at yourself only, if you see the picture of your childhood, you are definitely going to observe that you have changed a lot from what you were as a child to the present, isn't it? Your height has changed, your body has changed, right? So can we say that growth is a change in size? I think we can definitely say that. Now, if you look a little bit more or you think a little bit more, you will also find it that this change in your body shape or your body size is always positive in nature, isn't it? Say for example, you were say 100 centimeter when you were a 10-year-old kid, right? And now your height must have increased to say 150 centimeter, or some of you might be 200 centimeters also, right? So we can also say that this growth is positive in nature. Can any one of you say that you were 100 centimeter at when you were 10-year-old and now you are say 75 centimeters? No, right? That is, this change is always positive. And one more thing, that this change is irreversible also. How? Say for example, today you are 150 centimeter, right? Can you say that tomorrow you are going to become 145 centimeter in your height? No, right? That means this change in size is irreversible in nature, right? So in one line, if you want to define growth, can we say that growth is a positive and irreversible increase in size over a period of time, right? You can say that, right? Similarly, if you see a plant also, you will observe that a plant grows or changes its size, shape, its height during the entire period of time of its growth, right? Now, all of you must be thinking that how this growth happens. It's very simple, that your mother, many a times, your mother would have said you ki khana kha le, otherwise badhega nahi. That means you need to eat food. Why you need food? You need to eat food to get the energy, right? So you need to get some energy to grow. Now, why you need this energy? So that your body could perform certain metabolic activities which leads to your growth, right? Now, if we want to define growth fully, how can we define it? We can define growth as a positive and irreversible increase in size over a period of time, which is always accompanied by certain metabolism, which occurs at the expense of certain energy. Can't we? I think after understanding this, we definitely can define growth very easily. Now, how you can say that someone is growing? There should be certain way of measuring it, isn't it? Again, let me take an example of your personal life or your personal experience. Or most of you, not all of you, must have this experience that your parents used to mark your height on the wall of your house, right? So what they were doing at that time? Simply, they were measuring your growth, isn't it? They were measuring the increase in your height over a period of time, right? So a simple way of measuring growth would be increase in size of your body, right? So when you are increasing in your size, obviously your surface area is also increasing, right? Your surface area also increases, your volume also increases. So the first way of measuring your size or the size of any organism could be increase in size, surface area and volume, isn't it? It's a daily experience, right? All of us must have experienced this, right? Okay, let us come to the second one. The second way could be increase in the fresh weight or the organic matter content of your body, of an organism's body. Okay, be it plant or you, anyone. Okay, so increase in fresh weight. The third could be increase in dry weight. Now, what is dry weight? Dry weight is nothing. It is the weight of your body after removing the weight of the water content of your body. Okay. Now the fourth one. Obviously, we have studied the three ways of measurement of your of growth, right? Now, for this growth to happen, we all know that cells are very important part of your body, isn't it? Now, if the cells don't increase in number or size, how you are going to grow? You're not going to grow, right? So the other way of measuring your measuring the growth could be by measuring the increase in the number of cells as well as the size of cells. Okay. Now, can you say that growth is a certain process? No, right? Growth is a very slow and gradual process. Now, why it is slow? Because it occurs in different phases. Okay. There are three phases of growth in plants. First one is your cell division. Obviously, you need more number of cells. The second one is the cell elongation or cell enlargement. And the third one is cell maturation. Let us know about these three phases in a little bit detail. So what happens in cell division? As a name simply suggests that the cells divide in this phase and the number of cells increases during this phase. Usually, this cell division occurs in the meristematic and the meristematic region of the plants. So that is why it is also known as meristematic phase. Now, what happens during this? The cells which are divided, with the newly cells which are divided, these cells are rich in protoplasm, conspicuous nuclei, and they have very thin primary cell wall and have abundant plasmodesmatal metal connection. Now, these terms must be very new to you. These we need to study during the structure of the cells. After that, you are going to understand it very properly. Okay, but first remember this, that during this phase, the cells which are formed, they are rich in protoplasm, conspicuous nuclei. They have very thin cell wall. Okay. Now, after the cells have divided, these cells undergo enlargement, or these cells grow in their size. They increases their size. Now, this phase is known as cell elongation or cell enlargement phase. Now, what happens during this phase? Usually there is no new cell formation, but the cell increases in their size because of increase in the size of vacuoles present inside the cell. Now, why this vacuole increases? Because of target pressure. Okay? And the last stage is cell maturation. So what happens during this? As the name suggests, the cells mature or they differentiate into some specialized structure to perform a specific function. And that is why this stage is also known as the differentiation phase. Okay, what happens during this? This phase, the divided and enlarged cells, they modify or they changes qualitative. That is, these cells get a thicker cell wall and they form a modified protoplasm. There is no new cell division, only the qualitative character of the cell is changed. Now, if you want to understand these three phases in a very simple way, we can observe this very clearly in this growing seedling. Okay, if you look at this picture, you will see that the zones of the phases which we have studied are very well defined here, right? Say for example, see here, this portion, this the tip of the root. Okay, this zone is known as your zone of cell division. Usually in plants, what happens? The meristematic region is at the tips, that is at the tip of the shoot as well as at the tip of the root. Here in this case, we can see that the meristematic zone is at the tip of the root. Okay. Now after that, we can see the zone of cell elongation. Here in the diagram itself, you will realize that this region is much more thicker as compared to the zone of cell division. Why? We have studied that because in the zone of cell division, the cells only divide, right? But in case of in the zone of cell elongation, the cells are expanding. That is, they are increasing in their size, right? Okay. Now the third zone we can see that it is the zone of cell differentiation. Here you can clearly see that there are certain hair-like structure, right? Now what are these structure? These are the root hairs. From where did they came? They came from the elongated cells. Okay. How? These elongated cells, they got matured or they got differentiated to form the root structures of the plant so that the plant can absorb nutrient and water from the soil. Right? Now, in today's class, we have studied what? We have studied about what is the growth, how they can be measured, and what are the different phases of growth. Okay. Thank you very much.